Yo, 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 what's good? It's Bear in the building. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Kueen Talk. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. Today's special guest is based in Virginia. Okay, Frankie. Yes, and you're
Hi.
representing. I didn't even
Represent,
see
you
that.
gotta represent.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. So my name is Frankie, pronouns they, he. Based from Charlottesville, but I identify Haitian American. Gotta represent Haiti. And yeah, I would say that I'm trans, but I'm just Frankie. I'm out here being Frankie.
Yeah, thank you for being on this platform today, Kueen Talk. Another TikTok DM sliding in there, getting some people on the
Yeah.
podcast. So thank you, thank you. And I seen your, I think it was like the video that I seen. It was like you were just you said you don't identify as he or no a man. It was like I don't identify
Mm,
as a man.
mm,
Um, you identify as non-binary. And
right.
so can you just explain your experience, how you identify, like how you came to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I came across the word non-binary when I was about 17 years old. I met a friend who used they, them pronouns, identified as non-binary, and I had never met anybody like that in my life. I didn't think people like that could exist, and from then I was always curious. Um, but it wasn't until the pandemic hit. A lot of people were putting out information online, and I really just started to resonate myself with what I was seeing and how I was feeling on the inside. And it got to the point where I was just like, what even is gender? Um, and to me personally, it's just something I was performing, something that I felt like I was obligated to do. And so at the time, like my partner was just like, do you want to use they, them pronouns? How would that feel? And I was just like, yeah, I would love that. And then it wasn't until later that they, them, well, it did feel good. It just felt like it wasn't everything it could be. And then I started using he pronouns as well. And just starting to really figure out that I am transgender. And so that's where the he comes in. But yeah, for the most part, it's just like rebellion to gender to me. Like being non binary is just kind of like just being yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, shout out to your partner for being affirming and just like allowing you that space to be like,
Yeah.
okay, how do you want to navigate and go from here? So that's pretty dope that they allowed you
Yeah.
that communication. And because I feel like
Hmm.
relationships, they're ever changing. So, like, just it seems like you guys have that communication for yourself. So,
Yeah. To this day, like we're not together anymore, but to this day, he is my best friend. I go to him for almost all of my problems, even in my current relationship right now. Like he is the guy that I go to. So I was really fortunate to have someone who supported me that way.
yeah. And do you have a good support system around you, like through this process and transition, besides the person you're referring to right now?
Yeah, like for sure. Like my current partner right now, I don't think I would have been who I am today without them. They also use they, he pronouns. They also identify as being a non-binary trans masc kind of person. And to me, it's like that Justin Timberlake song. It's like you're my mirror. Like,
Standing next to
like it's just
me.
you know. So honestly, like I wouldn't be where I am today without them, and they helped me figure out who I am and give me the space and the range to do that.
Good, good. And the seems like they're going in the same process. So like you guys are doing
Right.
this together. So how has that been? Like
Yeah.
both of you guys and I know you're on T for 2 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
on and off for about 2 years now.
Okay. So are you guys are both on that process and navigating that. So what's that
Correct.
like?
So, it's funny because when people say like you have to be with your best friend in order to make a relationship work, like that is my best friend. Like in all aspects. word, like not only are we, lovers and we are creating a life together, but it's almost like we are growing up together and watching each other grow up and raising each other, trying to figure this out because we just didn't have the support necessarily where we were coming from, where we were like, so it really became us against the world, and so honestly, like with that, it's been easy, it's been fun, it's been everything.
Yes. So you said it's been you guys against the world. So other
Yeah.
than your partner, your family, are you distant from them during this transition, or how is that like?
It's kind of up in the air, like it's so new. Like I said, I come from like a Haitian American family, and they're pretty religious as well. So the whole being non-binary or resonating with being transgender, like this is all new information. I don't know how to describe being transgender. I tell myself that as long as I'm continuing to be myself, like they have no choice but to learn, especially if they want to love me.
And how has that been for them learning and wanting to like still be in your life? Like,
Yeah, honestly, we haven't had that conversation yet. It's like something it's like the giant elephant in the room, you know. And I do want to sit down and have that conversation. Like, how do you guys really feel about who I am and how I identify and all these things? But we just haven't gotten to that point yet.
do they treat you any differently, like as of right now, like since you've been doing it, or do they seem like it's naturally just like the same, like they've transitioned using the pronouns and whatnot, or?
Yeah, they're using my pronouns. Yeah, they're using my pronouns and they seem supportive. Yeah, they use
Well,
my
that's
name.
good. That's
Yeah,
good. So it seems
yeah.
like it's not like they're trying to be defiant towards it and just like,
No, it's never giving that. No, it's never giving that.
that's
Mm-mm.
good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so you're in Virginia, but you're from New York. New York.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, like I'm from. I say that I'm from the East Coast. I was born in Brooklyn, born in New York. I lived there for about 9, 10 years of my life, and then moved down to North Carolina. And then from then, when I met my partner, they go to UVA, and so we moved to Charlottesville together. But when anybody asks, like, I lived in Florida, I lived in North Carolina, I lived in Virginia, I lived in New York. So, like, I'm from
Why
the
did
East
you move?
Coast.
Why did you move around so much, especially
So,
different states, like,
yeah, that's a lot, right? Like, you would think that's unstable.
or like your
But
military family, like that's normal.
right. No, my dad was a single father, raising 3 kids by himself. My mom passed away actually when I was about 7. I think I made a video about that recently, just talking about that. And it was hard. It was hard for him trying to navigate fatherhood, being alone. And so he was just trying to do what was best for us. And it was just hard economically, just bouncing from place to place, just trying to find a place to raise these kids, and so that's really what had happened there. Just fell on some hard times and just had to move around, but I'm grateful. I've discovered like all these different types of people, and I have like a really wide perspective on things. Like I never say that I'm from the north. I never say I'm really from the south. Like I said, I just say I'm from the east side. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and I'm like your father. You said I did see the video when you were
Hmm.
21. Your father also like passed away too. So
Right.
sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
I how did you navigate that? I've dealt with the passing of my father too. It's not easy. But you in the video you said you never got the opportunity to express like your sexual identity to your family or anything like that. Do you feel like it was open to, and you just like weren't there in your journey yet, or?
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny. Like with mom, I never really knew too much about her. She died when I was, like I said, 7 years old. I don't really remember her too much. But my dad is really the person that raised me. And when I was figuring out that I am not this straight woman, it was hard to vocalize that to someone who was just so lost in his own world, first and foremost. There was a lot going on with my dad, but also just wanting to explain to him that, like, listen, like, the person that you raised, like, I'm changing, you know? And like I said, there was like so much going on at that time that there was just no space. There was no room to discuss anything like that, you know? And like honestly, it just wasn't on my mind, you know? Like I was in this like very straight relationship at the time. And to me, like being non-binary was more like an idea more than rather than an identity, you know? Like and so I was still figuring it out. You know, I was still young in my gender to say, you know. So I regret that it hasn't come up, and I do miss my dad, and that has been hard. Like now that I'm, you know, an orphan at 24, you know, not a lot of people can say that. But like I said in my video, like it's kind of freeing not to have to worry about the approval of my parents because, like I said, they were religious. They're Haitian Caribbean parents. Like that stuff doesn't fly. So I'm scared that if they were around, I wouldn't be as brave and as confident as I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, you have gone through a lot, and like you said, to not have
Mm,
either parent right now, that is hard to navigate within itself. But like you said, in a way, you found light of it, just like with your transition and your journey. So, um,
for
you are where you are today in Virginia, and how is Virginia life? Like, is it diverse there? Like you've
say
lived a
like
lot of places, so
right, right. For me, like Virginia, we're surviving. We're out here. We're thriving. Like you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in Charlottesville, which is like more like a progressive kind of city. Like I see Harris Waltz signs like everywhere I go. So, like I'm fortunate in that aspect. Pretty predominantly white though. And for me, like my partner is also like black and trans, and very queer. It's kind of hard to find like other black trans queer spaces. They try to have their events and you know their prides and stuff, but like I said, predominantly white. So we've been trying to navigate that. Like nobody's ever been like offensive or like terrible to us, but just seeing yourself and other people is super important.
most certainly. I think also like you mentioned before that this journey of yours it just happened at the age of 21. Like that's when you were like, okay, this this I'm going to explore this.
Right. Yeah. Like
Okay.
I started changing my clothes, my pronouns. I, you know, me like me and my partner at the time, I was just like maybe I need to like figure out like more aspects of my sexuality, like and so like became like an open relationship. Like it was just like a whole era of just like, okay, we're starting from scratch. Like we're just gonna have to figure this out from the beginning.
Yeah. And so it's been 3 years for you, and like so that journey has been in Virginia.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, like the transition, it's been like a journey to say the least. Like I'm young in everything. Like when I first started, I was non-binary, they them pronouns. Like I still resonated with being a woman a little bit, um, and I still like, and parts of me still do. Like I'm still connected to my femininity. It's just like I said in my video, like for some reason, like how I want to be portrayed in the world, how I want to people to see me is more masculine, like more masculinized version of me. And so like I'm still working on grieving my feminine side and actually grieving the fact that like no, like this is hard and a lot of people don't choose this. It's more like this finds you and like it just found me and I'm just trying to roll with what feels comfortable, you know. And so I wish I could say like the journey has been like easy and I knew exactly where I was and the moment I did that like everything changed. And but I have like my off days. Like there's some days where I panic and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, but it's just like I have to trust like what I know to be true, which is just like this is just who I am.
And you said that like you found it in like during COVID, or what were you watching? What happened, listening to that you're like, okay, this, I resonate with this.
Yeah. Like honestly, watching just like the algorithm just be algorithming, so it's just like the more that I searched, and it's just like, what is top surgery, or like what is, it's like I was asking all the questions that my cisgendered counterparts weren't asking, like why does my chest make me feel uncomfortable, like why do I wish my voice was lower, why do I wish that I have facial hair, like, and I was just like, I was looking up like how to grow my own facial hair, things gravitating towards me because I was looking for it, like I was looking for those answers. But honestly, it was just like the first friend that I had who was using those they them pronouns and like really exploring with their gender, like really had me just like open to the possibility that anything gender wise could be possible.
And as far as like you've been on T for 2 years, like that transition for you, how has that process been? Like, has it been easy for you, like, to navigate, and the resources have been there for you?
Yeah, I mean, getting on T, like that was a journey in and of itself. Like you would think that it would be the doctors or like maybe someone would stop you in front of the facility or something, but it's honestly insurance. Like insurance does not want to cover gender affirming care whatsoever, and it's expensive out of pocket, so that has been rough. Just getting it in general was not easy. Like I had to meet with therapists, meet with psychologists, determine that it wasn't something else going on. Like the process in itself was lengthy, but once I finally did get on the T, once I did start like changing and like transitioning like physically, like there were things about my transition that I did not like, like there's like things happen like with bottom growth, and then like obviously your voice gets lower, like my
What
face
bottom growth?
started to get.
What do you mean bottom growth?
So bottom growth is basically just whenever you start taking tea, like your bottom areas, like they basically start to like expand and puff up. Like I don't know the science behind it, but they just change. Like they change for you. Like everything changes. And so that took me some getting used to. Like my muscle mass changing from like my hips and my waist to like my stomach and like to my back, and like my soft and delicate feminine face was like squaring out, and so like it was just like a lot. Like it was a lot to like process because you're literally meeting yourself for the first time, and it's just like wow, like it's great because it's just like this is what I've always imagined myself to be, but it's also just like oh my god, like this is my inner thoughts are manifesting into like physical things, and like that's just insane to watch.
Yeah. And so while you're doing this alongside your partner too. So you're both doing this together, like at the same time too.
My partner actually started transitioning before. Like, I met him as a trans guy, and
Okay.
he had been on T. We've been together for almost 3 years now, but he was on T like 2 years prior to us
Okay.
getting together.
So
So,
like that had
um,
to be like a little help, like th- them already like going through it, so like helping you through the process a little bit.
girl, like when I tell you, like he was my encyclopedia. He was my I was just like, listen, like how do we do this? How do we do that? Because I like even my first shot, like I didn't even know what to do with that. Like I was just like, please help me. Like no, like he has been my guiding light in all of this.
And you do the shot by yourself too?
We actually have him and him shots. We do our shots together.
Okay. Like you just I don't like needles. I don't like getting shot. I'm that person
Listen.
who held my mom's hand till I was like 28 till I started going to the doctor by myself. Like
I feel it. I feel it. I mean, you get used to it. Like, luckily for me, I got tattoos, piercings. Like, needles don't really scare me, but Yeah, it takes some getting used to for sure.
Yeah. And so you do that weekly then, huh? You take the shot weekly.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you like? I've asked this before to like other people, but do you plan on to like take it like entirely, or is this just you never know like what your journey's gonna be?
Yeah, like I never know. Like right now it feels great to be taking tea, so I'm going to continue following that feeling, and then whenever that feeling goes away, then I'll stop.
Yeah. And do you feel like when was it like okay, you started feeling these differences for you like in your T transition wise like
Yeah.
week 1 you're like okay, I'm starting to feel week 2 or like what was it like for you?
It's the slowest journey, and a lot of people don't tell you that. Like, it is a very, very slow journey. Like, my voice didn't drop like weeks into taking tea. Like, and even then, like, I still want my voice to drop even more. So it's just like it's a slow journey, and I wish I really understood that when I started it, because I was waiting for like the changes. Like, I was in the mirror like, where my facial hair at, like, like I was ready, but no, it's slow. Like, every day, like, you take your shot, you're just like, I hope this is when the changes come. But like, but all that to say, like, things have changed. Like, I'm different than how I was like a year ago, but yeah, it's just taking some getting used to, like, the slowness of everything.
Yeah. Now like lifestyle wise, work wise, how has that been for the transition? I you're like a receptionist somewhere, so like or is that still true? Is that what you do?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
like how has that been for you in your journey?
yeah. So honestly, like, I've been met with like really graceful arms. Like, I really have been.
Good.
Like, not a lot of people understand it, but they respect it. And like, now I'm fortunate enough to work in a place like, I have no problem saying I now work at Planned Parenthood, and I offer gender affirming care now, and like, I'm helping my community in that aspect. And so it's just like, I don't know, like, everything came full circle. Like, everybody really, like, once you are confident being yourself, people fall in line. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, I think that is the key is just like confidence within yourself. And if they don't follow on, you're confident enough to like still move the way you're moving and eliminate those people in your life.
100%.
And so with I wanted to like talk about the insurance and stuff. You said with your process, it took when you did those journeys though, like you talked to the therapist, is that when your insurance got on board or they didn't get on board at all with your process?
Yeah, so with my process, the thing is, like, having the appointment was fine. But when the moment that my doctor sent my prescription to the pharmacy, that's when, like, hit the fan. Like, it's just like it needs prior authorization. Insurance needs to talk to the pharmacy, and pharmacy needs to talk to the insurance. The insurance needs to talk to my doctor. Pharmacy needs to talk to my doctor. Like, it's just like a whole. I had my first appointment like I wouldn't say the middle of the month. It wasn't until like the beginning of the next month that finally got my first dosage. And like, even then, like, every time my insurance changes, I have to go through that process all over again. And so it's just like it's a lot when you are ready to start your journey, and like all of these things, like all these roadblocks come up. It's just like
What
annoying.
advice would you give someone that might be dealing with the same roadblock or go through that situation?
Honestly, just to be patient, get all of your ducks in a row, and just make sure that you have all the documentation that you need to make the process go as smoothly as possible, because it takes forever. It's a lengthy process.
Yeah. And what you said it was lengthy. What was yours from like start to T-shot, like months, year wise did it take
Yeah,
you?
making the appointment, deciding that I wanted to have tea, like, it started with my therapist. So I made an appointment with, like, let's say, like, I made an appointment with my therapist in January. It wasn't until March, months after talking to her, investing all of my money, getting to her, like, getting to the nitty gritty of everything. that I finally was just like, okay, I need to start my hormone therapy. And so like I would say like it took like about 3 months, but I was dealing with my gender and wanting to transition for years up to that point.
Yeah.
So it really took like making the appointment with my therapist and then making an appointment with like an actual doctor to get on my hormones.
Yeah. So I just like wanted to give I like to give like throw that out there, like to ask that for other people like wanting to go through this process just to get an idea, like you said, because
Yeah.
some people like want to get okay, you can start the next week. No, that's not realistic. Like that's not how it works. But also just like therapy. Are you still in therapy as well? Like, is that
Mm-hmm.
a constant thing? Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Was it hard for you to find like is your therapist like a person of color?
Yes, I got so lucky. My therapist is a person of color and also identifies as being non-binary. Like I won the lottery. I literally won the jackpot. Like I'm very fortunate to have her.
Yeah. How did you find that? Was it just like psychology.com?
Listen, go to ThriveWorks. That's where I went.
Okay.
And I basically that's where my insurance fell in line with, and then I typed in like my information and what I was actually looking for, someone that like specializes in just like trans healthcare, and they popped up like this perfect little person that uses they/she pronouns, and I was just like, absolutely, let's hop on that, and like we just bonded like. And I have been talking to them ever since.
That's dope. That's dope. Good for you.
Yeah.
Therapy's always needed. Gotta talk to somebody. Gotta talk it out.
Yeah.
What do you feel like Virginia is where you're gonna be at for a while? You feel like you're gonna go somewhere else? How you feeling about life right now?
Well, yeah, my partner right now is a PhD student, so we are not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah, get that doctorate.
Yeah, you already know. but yeah, so the moment that they're done with that, like it's wherever the wind takes us.
Yeah. Is that your fiance too? Or
yes,
yeah.
That is my fiance.
Yeah,
that is
you
my
keep
fiance.
Saying partner. I'm like, ain't it your fiance?
That is my fiance. We are engaged.
Yeah, there's some respect. We had a different
you
level
right.
now. We had a different level.
You're right. That's my fiance.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, so when are you guys gonna get married? When's
so we're thinking about honestly like eloping. Okay. Probably sometime next year. Because weddings are expensive. Like who has the money for all that wedding stuff? So we're thinking about doing something really small, something cute next year, sometime in the spring.
Yeah. Very demure.
Yeah.
Very
cutesy, very demure.
I like it. They are expensive though too. It's like you could just have like a little reception type thing afterwards with some gatherings. You said we mentioned earlier about like the queer community there just like being very white, but do you like have a queer community of friends that you and your partner, you and your fiance
oh yeah, fiance.
Kick it with?
Yeah, like we've accumulated our little pieces here and there, so it's not like a group. We're working on getting together, but I do have people that I rely on who are a part of the queer community that of color as well.
Okay, and you said and they're people of color as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like, how hard has it been for you specifically to find that? Like, I know we mentioned it earlier, but I after doing this podcast, I've been finding them more and more. But like getting us together, I'm trying to do that. In November of this month, actually on the 24th, I'm putting a queer community together. So I'm trying to like, okay, like let's get together. I'm trying to do something. So we'll see if like they show up. But how has it been like for you? Like with trying to like get that group together? And how long have you been trying to start it?
I mean, it's hard. Like, first you have to find people who are happy and out first. Like a lot of people are still in that closet. So like you have to find people who are out first, and then, we have to, it's a lot of socializing, a lot of people scared, like out here. But as long as you keep trying, you'll always find somebody.
Yeah. And now that you said that, I'm just like thinking in my head, just like about that, like people not being out. My event's called Queers Giving. So it's like
Right.
it's for queers and allies. And so I gave it no room for like, because I did that like shout out Cheryansky, because she's really the one that came up with the name, but I stuck with it because of just that is what it is. Like this is and I'm tired of like just hiding that portion of just like people not wanting to just like express that express that side of themselves. So it's just this is what it is, and I'm hoping that, and it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, just like I don't know how to express the thought that I'm trying to express. It doesn't have to be this extravagant, over the top.
Right. Like you don't have to be like loud and proud about it.
Yeah, like you could just like, this is just how we identify though. Like it's nice to connect and just get that representation like amongst one another. I hope that works for you. I hope y'all can get together too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so right now, like when you go out, like what's the scene look like in Virginia? If I wanted to pop out in Virginia right now, like what we doing?
I mean, listen, come to Charlottesville, go to Richmond, and go downtown. That's where we're at. Richmond, let's go.
Hey, so what do you do? Like what's a nightlife?
So like honestly, like when you go downtown to like Richmond or like downtown Charlottesville, like there'll be drag queens and they have events and stuff. So you just really gotta catch on to the events. Make sure you're following all the queer bars and just make sure you hop on it because they're fleeting.
Yeah. Is it popping down there, or?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, like there's something going on every other weekend, I could say.
That's cool. What do you feel like is the next step for you in your journey?
Next step is getting these girls off my chest. Like, okay. I don't know what, and that's the one thing. Like, I have been struggling to stop vaping because I need to pass a nicotine test in order to get everything to my insurance.
Yeah, so definitely top surgery, cutting off the titties. Titties gotta go. Like it's honestly the final step to me feeling 100% myself for sure.
I love that for you. I really do. I want something done, maybe just up and down. But you were saying insurance. Insurance is like, is that helping? Like, is insurance helping you with that? Is that?
Yeah, so insurance is supposed to help. Like right now, like I need to pass a nicotine test, and that has been really hard just to stop vaping and getting that out of the way. But once I pass that nicotine test, I can send it to insurance. Hopefully insurance can see it that it's gender affirming care. I'm very fortunate in the state of Virginia. Most insurances do cover top surgery and stuff like that. So as long as I have like a really good letter recommendation from my therapist, from my doctor, once I have all my ducks in a row, then insurance should cover a significant amount. But I might have to pay like a lot out of pocket, but worth it.
So you have to take a nicotine test. That's what you said?
Yeah.
How long do you have to quit to be able to get cleared for a nicotine test?
4 weeks. Yo, like, are you joking? You must be joking. Like, come on. Yeah. I'm suffering. I mean,
4 weeks. It's not. I mean,
Listen, people say that until you actually try it. Like, once you try it, it's like, whoa, come on.
I used to chew tobacco. Like I used to walk around with a big dip in my mouth 90% of the time. And
how did you stop?
I reversed the process. So like when I started chewing, I had like I started with like Levi Garrett, and then I progressed, and so like I just like reversed. And
So you like try to like taper yourself off?
yeah, so I ended with Levi Garrett when I stopped chewing, and
okay.
And then on my 30th birthday, I was like, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be 3 years coming up that I haven't chewed. So
good for you. Good for you.
And I ain't gonna lie, like there's days where I'm just like, I still think about it. So it's like, even that 21 days, 60-day bullshit, that ain't true. I still be craving it, like, but I'm just like, I fight the urge. Sometimes I'm just like, you don't want to be that person.
I'm telling you, and I'm like, come on, I'm an adult. Like, why do I want to carry a fruited box everywhere? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's better than leaving spitters around everywhere. Like, I was like that. You were like, there would be spitters everywhere. Like, and then it got to where like my partner was like, at the end, it was like, every time you leave something, spit bottle, you owe me $5. So it's like, I was like having to owe a lot of money. I was like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. Right.
So you got it for a month, though.
Like, I know, a month. Like I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah. What's your goal? When's your goal to like do that by?
So I definitely want to do it like sometime next year. It's just a lot because I'm moving right now. I'm about to get married. Like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. So it's hard to fit in like a major surgery into all of that. But hopefully next year.
Have you looked into like what the process will be like too, like the downtime and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that look like?
So once you get the top surgery itself, from my understanding, there's drains that are put in. Depending on whether or not you decide to keep your nipples, there's things that you have to do with that, like, cleaning and dressing and all of that. But I believe your first checkup is like after a week and a half, and then that's when they finally take the drains out, and you can like really like start to function and move and stuff like that. But I believe you can't raise your arms or do like mobility stuff like that with like I think like a month in. So like it's just like a lot. But
I'm gonna have to come back like a few months after your surgery and let me know.
Right, just how's it goes. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, see how your process is going. Get an update from you. What have you been like most freeing of like during your journey?
Honestly, it's just like watching myself grow up again, like, and having control over that. Because I think that's where like a lot of trans people like are very fortunate. Like when you have puberty, like you can't control that. Like that's just your body doing its thing. But when you have control over like what changes you see, like it just becomes like this very freeing, very like exciting thing. Like being able to just like customize yourself in the way that you need to be. I just want to say, for those who are like questioning or like feeling alone in their like journey, like you should not have to debate your identity. Like your identity is this unmovable force, and it's at the end of the day all you have. So I would just keep going with that gut feeling and trust yourself.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, what would you like to leave the audience with? So that's that's what you would like to leave the audience with.
That is what I'd like to leave the audience with.
Yes, I appreciate you being a part of Kueen Talk, Frankie. I hope that it was a good time and you enjoyed it. And
I did. It was fun.
Tell your friends that you're starting to gather, the ones that you're starting to gather. Like, hey. You need to be a part of this, and your fiance as well. I would love to have them on here as well. I
Yeah.
I thank you for like telling your story and being a part of this and answering all my questions. I can be like pretty like invasive sometimes, because I just this is what this is for, just like so people get that understanding and of people's actual real life experiences and their journeys is the best way to get information. And so I appreciate you giving that today. And like I said, being a part of this. And for anyone watching this, if you guys want to be a guest, there's a link below. Click the link below. If you guys have questions for guests that you would like me to ask, hit the link below as well. Frankie's information will be down there below as well. Give a follow on TikTok. You know, everyone's trying to get the TikTok following game up. You guys, I got an event November 24th. November 24th. November 24th. I got an event. 12 to 4, Frankie. I'm trying to get us together. You know what I'm doing? Queers.
I know it.
I'm trying to make it happen. So you can get tickets at queentalk.com. More information also at queentalk.com, where you can check out my social media to find out all the details. But as always, family, friends, strangers, love, be nice,